Hi, thanks for tuning in to another video on Armor of God. As always, let me start this video by saying thank you so much for being here with us, and hopefully there's something useful for you to learn here. Well, for this video, I want to share with all of you what the late Father Gabriele Amorth said about the behavior of demons. Bear in mind, Father Amorth wrote this in regards to what happens during exorcisms, and the demons' behaviors are explained in the following sequence: prior to discovery, during exorcisms, before and after liberation. According to Father Amorth, demons will do all they can to not be discovered. They do not like to talk and will try everything to discourage both the exorcists and the victims. The behavior of the demons, one, is most unpredictable and takes many different forms. But before I get on any further with this video, I'd like to share this one with you, of a girl who can see things her mom couldn't. Now, my apology in advance for the background music for this video, though. I think it's one of the generic music used by people on TikTok whenever they make horror-themed videos.
Open it. That's a person.
There's a person?
Yeah.
Can you show me where the person is? Is it Elsa? No?
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you show me where the person is? Is it a kid person or a grown-up person?
Grown-up person.
It's a grown-up person?
I'm on the Elmo.
You want to wear your Elmo costume?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a grown-up person in your closet?
Yeah.
And it's right there?
Yeah. It's my closet.
It's your closet. Say, go away, person.
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? Have any of you experienced the same thing with your children? Well, let's get on with this video then. Number 1, prior to discovery. According to Father Amorth, demonic possession causes physical and mental disturbances, and therefore the possessed is usually under a doctor's care, and nobody suspects the true nature of the problems. We must remember that even in the cases of complete possession, that is, in cases when the demon is the one talking and acting, using the victim's body, the demon does not act consistently. He alternates periods of activity, which is usually called moments of crisis, with unpredictable periods of rest. In this manner, with few exceptions, the person is able to function and hold a job or go to school in a seemingly normal manner. The person alone knows the tremendous effort that the performance of these tasks requires. At the beginning, the demon tries his best to remain undetected, or at least to hide the seriousness of his possession, even if he is not always successful. At times, he is forced by the strength of the exorcism to reveal his presence at the first prayers. Other times, more sessions are required before he is discovered. Number 2. During exorcisms. Father Amorth shared an exorcism of a young man who, at the first blessing, gave only a mild negative reaction, but then the second time, though, he became furious. That stopped Father Amorth from continuing the exorcism unless 4 strong men were present to subdue him. And on other occasions, one must wait for the hour of God. Father Amorth recalled one particular case where one particular victim had consulted several exorcists, including Father Amorth, without any indication of an evil presence. But finally, one time the demon was forced to reveal himself, and after that the exorcisms proceeded fruitfully. According to Father Amorth, from the first or second blessing the demon reveals all his strength, which changes from person to person. At times the revelation is progressive. Some possessed appear to have a different sickness at each session, giving the impression that every ill in the body must be brought out one at a time in order to be healed. The demon reacts in various manners to prayers and injunctions. Many times he tries to appear indifferent, but the reality is the demon suffers and continues to suffer increasingly until liberation is achieved. Some possessed individuals are silent and not moving too much, and if provoked, any reaction is limited to the eyes. Others fling themselves about, and unless they are held down, they harm themselves. Others wail, especially if a stole is pressed to the affected parts of their bodies as the ritual suggests, or if they are blessed with the sign of the cross or with holy water. As Father Amorth puts it, demons are very reluctant to speak, and this is why the ritual very rightly admonishes the exorcist not to ask questions out of curiosity, but to ask only what is useful for liberation. The first thing that must be asked is the name. For the demon, who is so reluctant to reveal himself, revealing himself is a defeat, and even when he has revealed his name, he is always reluctant to repeat it, even during following exorcisms. After this, The exorcists will then command the demon to tell how many demons are present in a particular body. There can be many or few, but there is always one chief, and he is always the first to be named. When the demon has a biblical name or one given in tradition, for example, Beelzebub, Lucifer, Zebulun, and Asmodeus, the exorcists are then dealing with heavyweights, which means they are tougher to defeat, but not impossible. When several demons are present, the chief is always the last to leave. Another time, the demon will reveal the sins to discourage the exorcist. Father Candido, Father Amorth's mentor, was exorcising a young man who was possessed by a great beast of a demon, trying to discourage the exorcist. The demon said, "Can't you see that you are wasting your time? This one never prays. He goes around with this and does that." And the demon continued revealing a long list of ugly sins of the possessed victim. At the end of the exorcism, Father Candido fruitlessly tried to convince that young man to make a general confession. It was necessary almost to drag him into the confessional, where he hastened to say that he had no sins to confess. Then Father Candido asked, "But did you not do this and such?" Dumbfounded, the poor man was forced to admit his transgressions. As the confessor continued with the long list of sins, the young man admitted every one of the facts revealed by the demon, and after receiving absolution, the young man left, shocked that the priests knew a lot of the sins he had committed before. Number 3. Before liberation. According to Father Amorth, this particular stage is a delicate and difficult moment, which could also take a long time because sometimes the demon indicates that he has lost strength, but in other circumstances he tries to launch the last attacks. In the case of a common sickness, Father Amorth often noticed that the patient progresses gradually until he is well again. In the case of possession, on the other hand, most frequently the opposite happens. The individual often feels increasingly worse, and when he cannot stand it any longer, he is healed. At times, individuals who were near or very near liberation stopped coming to their appointments altogether, and so these patients must often be helped to pray and to go to church because they cannot do it on their own. They also need help undergoing exorcisms, and they must constantly be encouraged, especially during the final stages. Undoubtedly, the length of time required before liberation contributes to the discouragement and to the physical exhaustion. The victim feels that his ills are incurable. Sometimes the demon may also cause real sickness, physical but primarily psychological, that must be medically treated after liberation. At other times, the healing is complete and requires nothing more. Number 4. After liberation. Now you've heard other exorcists addressing this many times before. The relationship with God, and as Father Amorth puts it, it is very important not to decrease prayer, the reception of sacraments, and living a Christian life. An occasional exorcism is also beneficial because it is not unusual for the demon to repeat his attacks, trying to come back. Father Amorth calls this a period of gathering strength to safeguard a successful liberation because occasionally some of his patients have experienced relapses. But when there is no negligence involved, that is, he had maintained an intense spiritual life, the second liberation is usually easy. However, when the relapse was helped by lack of prayer, or even worse, by falling into habitual sin, the possession will be worse than before, just as Matthew 12 verse 43 to 45 describes. The demon comes back with 7 more worse than himself. Well then, that's all for the video this time. I hope you find this video helpful for you, and please remember, I'm sharing these things with you not to increase your fascination towards evil, but for us to be closer to God. Anyway, thank you so much for being here with us, and if any of you'd like to support our works, I left a link to our PayPal donation down in the description box below. And we'd like to say thank you so much in advance for your support and contribution. Well then, until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless you.